Dear students, in this module, we are going to talk about the characteristics of social institutions in detail. Social institutions are universal. It means that you will find the institutions in almost every society, regardless of time and space. When we say that regardless of time and space, it means that in the historical past or maybe in the future, you will find the institutions, the existence of institution, and in every society, in the every country, in the society of every country on planet Earth. So institutions are considered the universal feature of every society. So they vary from time to time across cultures in terms of complexity, specialization, scope, formality, and organization. So these different aspects will be varying from one society to another society based on the nature of the institutions. For example, where institutions are formal, you will find the strong nature of relation, you will find the nature of relationship different as compared to where the institutions are informal. And similarly, where institutions are specific or goal oriented, utilitarian goal oriented, you will find the nature of institution based on economic interest as compared to the emotional interest. So these basic natures and purposes can be considered almost in every social institution. And social institutions are centered upon the human needs because the purpose of or the goal of every institution is to fulfill certain human needs. For example, to fulfill our economic needs, to fulfill our educational needs, to fulfill our socialization needs, or maybe aesthetic needs, or maybe the sexual needs, or maybe the needs for the food. We find all kind of institutions available for us to fulfill these needs. So they function as the units identifiable from each other, though not completely separable, but you will find the clear distinctions between the institutions. It means that institutional boundaries can be distinguishable. And institutions are connected through the status and roles of members, and we find different social positions which can specifically reflect the nature of social institution. So each institution is laden with its unique values, prescribed rules, codes of conduct, some written laws, and mostly unwritten laws as well, subconsciously exerted social pressure on the members of society in order to make them abide by those rules or those norms, and in case of violation they also produce a mechanism of social control. So these roles are interrelated and form a network of obligations and rights. Institutions define the procedures of actions and reasons for actions, that what they are doing and why they are doing. So institutions are the most important agencies in the formation of personality, whether it's the individual personality or the personality of the whole community. Institutional patterns of socialization play a very important role to produce these personality characteristics as well. So social institutions are the great conserve and transmitter of cultural heritage as well. You find that the traditions from one generation to another generation, or the transmission of traditions from one generation to another generation, these are also patterned and institutionally available mechanisms of preserving the cultural heritage. And an institution never dies, and they are relatively permanent. The new institutional norms may replace the old norms. So the process of social change is available almost in every institution. And many institutions are, although rigid and enduring, yet they find relative flexibility depending on the nature of institution, relative flexibility to accept or to reject the social change. So they do not undergo the sudden or rapid changes. Institutions are the controlling mechanisms which exert the social pressure or social control on the individuals who are part of them. And institutions like religion, family, state, government, they also control the behavior of people through the patterns of socialization as well as formal mechanisms of social control. So institutions may closely or loosely be structured depending upon whether the authority is highly centralized or decentralized. For example, in a formal law enforcing institution, the authority would be highly centralized, based on which a hierarchy of or the mechanism of social control is based on a certain hierarchy as well as the authority of that social position. And it preserves the social order and gives the stability to it, because the ultimate goal or the ultimate purpose of social institutions is to produce stability as well as and the interdependence and social control for the betterment of society. So institutions have the cultural symbols which are representative of their identities. For example, a mosque, if we talk about, it is the representative of the religious institution. A bank, it is the representative of an economic institution. A school, it is the representative of an educational institution. So, like a country has a flag, an emblem, and the national anthem as its symbols, for example. And institutions, being the group of people, have the national resources and material objects available to them for the smooth functioning of their norms and values, so that they could build and maintain the social order in society.